You tell me we're good. We'll call the meeting to order then. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Morning.
The approval agenda and order of business. We want to remove 10.2 because Angela is coming in to do a presentation before we deal with that issue.
Okay.
I don't have any other changes. I don't know if anybody else does.
I'll move to approve the agenda as amended.
Seconder? Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. I forgot to mention that Sharon's not here, although you probably noticed that. Yeah, apparently out at her office there are a variety of people away on business, and there's a lot of people away because they're sick, and she just couldn't leave the office. It just wasn't possible for her to do so. So she sends her regrets. And well, we might as well move on to the presentation of the Long Service Award. Heather Archibald, 10 years.
Yes.
Come on up.
Wow.
It's been a very fast 10 years.
Good to have you with us so long. Must be crazy if you stayed this long.
I think that I get another 10 years, but I'm still here. So if you're still here, go home. Thank you.
Thanks, Ed.
Okay, we'll go back to number 3, public input. Nobody has given me any indication that there is any. No? Minutes of the previous meeting, canceled January the 11th, errors or omissions. People are being all quiet.
Motion to approve. Second.
Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Proclamations, I'm unaware of any. I'm correct, right? I'm correct. Yeah. Nobody said anything. Committee reports, recreation and parks, and there are some motions there. And that would be.
Oh, Sharon. Oh, to Sharon.
Sharon, she's not here. Well, we have a couple of motions, and essentially they're grants to curling champions.
I can answer any questions if there are any, but there's two applications, so 2 motions for the Atherton family. The two different kids are both headed to the same event, one for U18 females and U18 males.
Okay.
And yeah, they're going to be on their way in February to that national event.
Okay.
I'll move to approve motions 2024-014 and 2024-015. Second.
Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Just a Playhouse.
That's us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Sort of a good morning.
Sort of good morning. I'll say to Andrew that my dog had a very short walk this morning.
Yeah.
More of a skid than a walk.
If he wants to go by himself, he can stay as long as he wants.
Exactly. Well, thank you very much. We're really delighted to be here this morning. And I'm going to sort of open up and close down our formal presentation. And then, of course, we'll take as many questions as you might have for us.
Yeah.
Today we'd like to give you an update on, do we have a deck? Perhaps we could go to the first slide. Oh,
Right there.
okay, yeah, sorry.
We have it. I don't know if you have
She's kind of giving me a nod, and I can go to the next one.
Yeah, thank you. I think all the rain's gone to my brain. We wanted to update you on the impact or results of our reopening, and also to share with you our vision of the Playhouse's future as a community hub, and to provide you some context for the ask that we're going to be making in advance of our application for the annual budget grant funding stream. So Chester is a municipality, is an area rich in history, and I know that we are all biased, but I happen to think it's the best place to live. ever. And I've
Outside of Chester Basin.
outside, no, Chester
The
municipality.
municipality of Chester is the best place in the world to live.
Yes, exactly. But it's also a municipality with significant income disparities, a history of us and them, significant seasonal tourism aspect, which provides its own challenges, and major gaps in youth programming with respect to the arts. So, we have our issues as well. We've learned from COVID the importance of social connections and social infrastructure. So what we're speaking to you about today is our vision of a community resource and vital piece of social infrastructure for the municipality that we believe and hope has the potential to unite the various communities within the greater municipality, as well as being a vital contributor to the economy of the region. We're asking this make so that we can realize on what we think is our potential for on a sustainable basis for the benefit of all of Chester municipality, not just for today, but for tomorrow. So that's the context, and I'll now pass along to Andrew.
Sure. So as you're aware, a fire struck the Playhouse in 2021 as we neared the end of a major restoration project. We immediately reimagined so that we could present live arts in our community, continue to present live arts in our community. We partnered with local venues. We continue to present a diverse mix of music, theater, comedy, variety performances, conversations, and movies. We also continue to present arts education programming for youth, with nearly over 100 youth participants in our theater training programs, 50 of those last summer. Meanwhile, we rebuilt the Playhouse. Thanks to the leadership of Council in supporting the rebuild project, construction was completed in August 2023, and we invited the community to celebrate a grand reopening with us at the end of that month. That's, yeah, can we have the next slide, please? Some of the highlights from that weekend. Next slide, please. Since then, the community response has been overwhelming. As you'll see in the chart here, last year we did 5 more events and we doubled our audience. 2/3 of those came in the fall after the opening. 7 out of our 10 major events sold out last fall, and that enthusiasm has continued unabated through this winter. We also partnered with the Chester Drama Society to produce the best Christmas pageant ever, including nearly 40 community members, including 25 youth and 6 members of the Chester Volunteer Fire Department. We've also been able to expand our offerings to those with accessibility needs, hosting regular attendance from residents of Shoreham Village and Bonnie Lee Farm, thanks to the accessible measures that we included in the construction. Next slide. We've survived these past few years, rebuilt and thrived thanks to the support of our community. And as we look to the future, we are committed to serving that community by continuing to rebuild our audiences and our geographic draw. This includes expanding our programming to draw more tourists, more visitors, as well as locals. Our community is growing with the developments in Stanford Lake, as well as Hubbard's to East Chester, and the twinning of the highway to Exit 8 makes Chester a more attractive destination for day and evening visits than ever before. Currently, about 1/3 of our audience comes from the HRM, and we're looking to expand further westward. We're eager to expand those offerings and meet the needs of our community as a destination. As it grows, our programming will continue to present a rich and exciting mix of theater, music, comedy, variety, conversations, movies, and community events, offering something for everyone. Featuring established masters, balanced with emerging local artists, including programming that features diverse performers from Indigenous, Black, and queer communities. We'll continue to explore and offer affordable ticketing models with pay-what-you-can events and continuing our $10 community ticket program. And we'll continue to expand our scope to include destination events, things that draw people here, including outdoor summer concerts, and this August, a concert celebrating the Congrès Mondial Acadien, taking place this year in Clare-Argyle. This gathering is held in various places around the world every 5 years and promises to draw about 25,000 people to Nova Scotia. We're going to give them a very good reason to stop along the South Shore as they make their way there, as well as provide opportunities to connect the local Acadian and Anglophone communities. Next slide. We'll expand our youth programs this year, offering 7 weeks of youth programming this summer as we rebuild our theater school, and in the future we'll work to offer after-school programs, year-round classes with learning opportunities for youth, adults, and seniors. We'll host touring performances aimed at youth and students for free or at minimal cost. We've pitched multiple opportunities to the local schools to bring shows for their students, but the budget has always been prohibitive so far. We can solve that. We'll also host performances by schools. This May, we'll be hosting a production of a modern take on A Midsummer Night's Dream performed by the Drama Club at Forest Heights School, giving 30 local students the opportunity to perform on our professional stage. They came and visited us a couple of weeks ago, and it was really, really inspiring. We'll also expand our programming for youth and young families, including the launch of a concert series aimed exclusively at high school students. There's a quote on there from somebody who came to a movie screening right around Christmas time, someone with young kids who was so excited to have something to bring the kids to in the heart of the village. Next slide. We'll build upon our success in making our building accessible, engaging ASL interpreters, closed captioning services, live streaming for those who can't attend in person. Shoreham Village has been regular attendees this fall thanks to a provincial grant. We'd like to continue to support attendance by their residents, as well as those from Bonnie Lee Farm. We'll continue to prioritize affordability of our offerings so that price is never a barrier to experiencing live arts. Taking lessons from our Playhouse Without Walls traveling shows, we'll aim to continue to present on-the-road programming to different areas of municipalities so we can continue to bring live arts and culture to everyone. And we'll continue to pursue structural improvements to the Playhouse, including a chairlift to the second floor multi-purpose room. These improvements really make a difference for people, as you'll see on the quote at the bottom there. Next slide. We aim to serve as a community hub with subsidized rental costs for nonprofits and individuals who are based locally. We've had numerous rental inquiries since our reopening, and we'd like to make access to the Playhouse as affordable as possible for the people who live here. We'll also be piloting a program to provide childcare options for staff, for artists, and patrons attending our events. We'll continue to build a community with the Indigenous community at Gold River, continuing to offer free tickets for elders and subsidized tickets to community members, and building a strategy to continue our reconciliation work. And we'll serve as leaders in environmentalism, promoting a green performance culture through events that promote climate awareness, conducting an environmental audit to continue to improve our efficiency, and exploring transit and parking options, allowing patrons to visit the Playhouse and explore Chester while managing our carbon footprint. Next slide, please.
You're going to be busy.
Yeah.
Yes.
These goals are ambitious.
Yeah, they're...
But achievable. And we believe they align directly with the municipality's strategic priorities. The Playhouse is a key driver of the tourism and the hospitality sector, drawing visitors from across the province to visit the municipality and drive those economic spin-offs. We aim to lead in environmental stewardship through continuing to green our operations and promoting climate justice. We are drivers in enriching the quality of life of our municipality, bringing world-class art that is diverse and varied to our community, creating opportunities for youth and young families to cultivate a lifelong love of the arts. And we aim to help meet the municipality's goals in infrastructure, exploring those transportation and parking solutions, allowing more visitors without impeding locals from getting around. Next slide, please. Over to you.
Thank you. So today we are asking for your support for our application for the annual budgeted grants program with an ask of $50,000. The Playhouse team has weathered impossible odds and built back quickly, efficiently, and effectively. We are supported by our community, and we've been very much supported by you and other government funders, and are eager to grow with and to serve our community, as you have heard from the slides that we've already gone through. Our aspirations and capacity to do all this on a sustainable basis are limited by our reliance on earned revenue and private donations, which during a cost of living crisis have built-in caps. We have leveraged a robust donor and sponsor base and will continue to balance our offerings with growing audience demand. Our annual budget for 2024 is over $600,000. Which is a remarkable growth for a not-for-profit organization, and our ask represents less than 10% of our revenue. That is very proportionate to our size and impact and in balance with our community peers. Our ask is also in proportion to funding received from other levels of government, which represents about 40% of our total public revenues. Council has made it clear that arts and culture are a priority, and our community has demonstrated that the Playhouse is important to their quality of life and worth supporting. Investment in the arts benefits quality of life for all residents, youth, seniors, families, residents of all economic levels, and arts programming shows direct benefit to surrounding local businesses, the tourism sector, and the continued growth of the municipality. After several years of hard work, the municipality has a first-class arts and community hub, which will be a provincial landmark with spin-offs and benefits for residents across the municipality. We have benefited tremendously from our community support, and we are committed and eager to return that support. And we're asking for your support to help us leverage this community asset to the benefit of all in the municipality of Chester, in support of the vision that you shouldn't have to have money in order to profit from and enjoy performing arts and to participate in them. Thank you.
Thank you. Very ambitious.
We are.
And
Survived the last couple of years, what else can?
Well, look, I would say it's surprising, but it was no easy challenge to deal with the rebuilding, burnt down, do it all over again. You know, it's not simple about that.
After that, everything else is easy.
Yeah, well, it gets easier.
I have developed this bad habit of knocking on wood every time we have these conversations. But I also would add that something we didn't highlight so much is that the volunteers have also made everything possible, and they've come from across the municipality, without the volunteers, we would not be sitting here.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, and the community was a private, citizens stood up.
They did.
Yeah, when they needed to.
Yeah.
Anyway, in a general sense, you're an extremely valuable component of the municipality, and yes, you do align with our strategic priorities and all that kind of stuff. However, we haven't set a budget yet. We got to deal with all that. And, you know, you'll be on. That's all I can say.
Of course.
Yeah. This is just setting the seed for the ask.
For the actual ask. That's right. Yeah. Other people, questions or comments?
Just thank you, it's a great place, back and up and running, and I'm very pleased to see the affordable tickets for the community. I think that's one of the most important parts, so
I agree.
everyone can attend and be part of it, so thank you for that part. I appreciate it.
And as we said before in one of our other presentations, is that one of the reasons that on the opening weekend we were so careful to try to keep ticket prices down was because we wanted to begin as we mean to carry on. And it doesn't mean that we won't have expensive tickets from time to time, because we have to,
Some of the acts you can't have.
We can't have
charge.
But we wanted to convey the message that that is something that we are very conscious of, and we want to find ways. And here today is one of the ways that can help us bring arts and culture, performing arts and culture, to the whole municipality and beyond.
And even for those expensive shows with top tier artists, that $10 community ticket program, that applies to those shows as well. So we have 10 tickets that are available for $10 a piece, no questions asked. They're not the worst seats in the house. They're anywhere else, anywhere that is not yet sold. Folks can come, so price isn't a barrier.
Yeah, and it's great that you're involved in like Forest Heights and Short End Village and people like that. Yeah.
It's really exciting.
Very sorry, Tina.
Thank you. Great to see you again.
Nice to see you.
And thanks again, just as everyone has said, for being here and updating us, really, a capture of where you've been and where you've come and where you're at and aspirations. So as I look at the guidelines for annual budgeted grant program, I'm seeing certainly check, right? So I'm looking forward to receiving certainly the full package, probably through Chad, if you will, as well, in terms of coming here. One thing for my decision-making and potential for other questions and unknowns. I know that last year when the Chester Arts Centre was here, Sue and Trudy were here the first time, and then after that, each other deliberation that took place here at this table, Sue was here to answer any questions if they came up. And I think that was really decent of them as an organization as well as us to see that through. And my comfort level would be the same if that was something that you could fit within your schedule. And our budget deliberations are public. So if that would be, for me, I know that something could come up because I just actually want to ask clarification, but it could be in the document when it comes through. Did you say that this request would kind of equate to about 10% of your revenue?
Budget.
Oh, okay, budget, not revenue.
Less than 10% of our overall budget.
Okay, I heard the word revenue, I wrote it down, I heard wrong. And 40% of your total public revenue? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, sorry. So again, I could have further questions, but thank you for making time today, it's important, but as well when we sit here and deliberate again. And again, maybe, and again, who knows, right?
Absolutely. We're asking to be a partner with the municipality, and we want to be a good partner.
Yeah, so see you again.
Sure,
Thank you.
make yourself available for your
Absolutely.
questions.
Sure, thank you very much.
Until you get sick of seeing us then.
Well,
No, never.
Derek,
Thank you for your presentation, appreciate it. Just some questions, not related to your ask, but to the theater itself. What's the uptake on the affordable tickets? I mean, how many of those are?
It varies show to show. Honestly, it's been rare that we've sold all 10 that are available, but every show has had at least some. On average, 6 to 8, I would say, that have been purchased at that price.
Okay, and the movies, I'm interested because I've been going to the adult movies. I'm curious to know how the kids' movies are doing.
Movies it's a sort of a new venture for us as we're sort of ramping back into the Playhouse, and it's gaining steam. This past weekend on Friday, as you know, we screened Past Lives and had about 70 people come out for it. The afternoon on Sunday, we screened Trolls Band Together and had 70 people out for that one, a whole lot of little people for that one, including the 5-year-old in my life who had a ball.
So how do you get those current movies? I mean, how can you afford those? I just don't know. They seem to be, like Oppenheimer and those movies, to be more expensive. Can you still make money?
Yeah, at this point we're breaking even around that number, and we aim to keep expanding. It's a licensing agreement, and it's not prohibitive. We're mostly limited by sort of scheduling. So first run, new movies have a first run in theaters that can give them, multiple weeks at a time. Where we're doing one screening, we usually get them a couple of weeks after they've been out in the Cineplex. But we're chasing them down to get them as soon as we can. And so far we're managing and aiming to grow.
Yeah, no, it's a great evening to not have to drive to theaters late,
And we've recently started experimenting with like the Friday night and the Sunday afternoon. Sunday afternoon benefit is that people don't have to drive in the dark, which apparently particularly the winter with icy highways is an issue. And Friday evening so far it looks like a decent time for folks, but our just commitment is we're going to continue to experiment and learn
what works best?
What works best and what responds to people's needs.
Just for council, you're missing, I haven't seen any of the council that's at the movies. It's a great movie Friday night, I think you should think about going.
I have a fire stick, so it's full. And that's probably why the licensing and everything is not like it used to be years ago. You wouldn't be able to do this years ago. It would be impossible. But with everybody streaming and
exactly.
So hot, it's,
Yeah, no, great.
Tina?
Sorry, I just have to say.
And free popcorn.
And
Derek's there.
You don't get that at the theater.
That's right.
That's thanks to a partnership with Chester Foodland.
Yes.
Just have to say it again. The last time that you were in, I mentioned it, but it's the On the Road program. I love that, and I think it's so important. I'm glad to know that you're your thoughts are around, your plans are around continuing that, on the road, obviously, throughout the municipality. Just have to use the example of the Chester Arts Centre again. I believe they're doing one of their programmings that they did last year in New Ross around seniors in Blandford at the moment. So I love that about all of the facilities that I've come to know a bit better and embrace. So thank you for the on the road program.
We really felt it was important to highlight that and keep that as a priority, to take the lessons that we learned from our
Oh, yeah.
Years of COVID, yes.
That means a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Take care of yourselves.
Yes, you too.
Thanks, John.
Be careful on the roads.
Hopefully by the time we leave, it'll be all
And you know,
rain.
It's fun, it makes me smile.
Okay, 7.3, Bonnie Lee, Elizabeth Finney.
He's not here yet.
Not here yet. Oh, I guess so. Okay. 7.4?
Yeah.
John's here.
Not here yet? Yeah, okay, sorry, I was gonna say. John Wallace, Western Shore Express.
Good morning. Good morning.
Councillors, leaders of this community, thank you for the opportunity to bring forth my concern to this meeting. My name is John Wallace, and I am a business owner in Western Shore, Nova Scotia. In the service of His Majesty, as an authorized agent of Camp Post, reliable mail and parcel services are offered daily, serving the community of nearly 550 people. In addition, our services offered are authorized UL dealership, general store, subs, sandwiches, ice cream for takeout, lotto, and an ATM service. As I've already submitted my materials detailing my issues, I wish to simply take this opportunity to summarize my concern. Since I've taken over this business, I have undergone 4 fire inspections in the past 5 years, which seems a little excessive. I've invested a lot of money to address the deficiencies noted in these fire inspection reports. This location is safer than it's ever been, given it now has new fire extinguishers, new smoke carbon alarms, newly lit exit sign, new emergency lights, new electrical wiring upgrades, 40 plus LED tube lights in place of the fire-prone and hazardous incandescent lights, a circuit board surge protector, a fire exit plan, and much more. Makes you wonder how this place ever passed previous fire inspections, if any, given the many deficiencies I've addressed in the 10 plus years of operation prior to my arrival to this community. I don't want to discredit the work performed by your appointed fire inspector, as he is simply doing his job. It's my understanding he must follow up on any and all anonymous calls, fire-related complaints. I'm no good at
Well,
Great.
Doing a pretty good job.
yeah, you're doing all right.
These constant harassment, bullying, and discrimination, however, needs to stop by these potential hoodlums, where your protocols and procedures as a backdoor to harass businesses. We need to properly weigh these anonymous calls versus service disruption and its impact to the community. As you're providing invaluable service to 7 ridings you serve, I too am providing a valuable service in my riding, District 5. I feel my business is safe to operate given the many deficiencies addressed to date. In addition, many distinguished residents come to get their mail at this location, such as Nova Scotia Deputy Fire Marshal himself, the current and former Western Shore Fire Chiefs, our very own District 5 Councillor, and many others, who all seem content to come in, safely get the mail daily. In addition, I am but a few blocks away, walking distance, from the Western Shore Fire Department. Worst case scenario. You always have to consider that. As a leader of our community, might there be a possibility to study the legitimacy of these anonymous calls by potential bullies and its negative impact on services to the community? These disruptions are already being felt in my community. I once worked 70+ hours per week and reduced to a 50-hour work week Monday to Friday, 8 to 6, which is the normal Canada Post hours. Those that commute to the city are often unable to get their mail now as a result. These changes were necessary to deal with personal stress by bullies and to address the concerns in the fire report. If there is an issue that may be of valid concern, but by no means a fire hazard, is the amount of inventory for sale. For this reason, I have halted high volumes of incoming products and also marked down many items in order to further downsize. Secondly, I'm proactively looking at purchasing a sea can for storage purposes. But given that I have been hauling on my own with increasing operating expenses, it will take time. As I've never received any financial support from any layers of government since I've taken over this business, it's been difficult, especially during COVID. I simply don't have 10,000 at the moment to purchase a storage unit, but I am saving towards this goal. Can we jointly work together in the meantime to service our community? I'm doing my best within my means to service my community. As noted in my materials handed over, we have already lost over 4 businesses since I arrived to Western Shore. Mo's, Richardson, a pottery shop, Bahama Mama's Cook Nook, and probably others that I've not even looked into. Between the postal service I offer and the grocery store just across, there isn't much else in this community for the community. If we can't attract new businesses, can we at least work to retain existing businesses here in Western Shore? So in closing, many residents I've spoken to inform me that talking to this board is equivalent to talking to a brick wall if you're from Western Shore. I don't believe that to be true. If we can stop these bullies from harassing businesses like mine via anonymous call channels as such, I will have no choice but to commence with an orderly closure of the post office, for I refuse to work another day bullied, harassed, and discriminated serving my community. This is what racism looks like. Thank you.
Thank you, you did a good job. Yeah.
Thank you.
I wish I could answer that, but I can't because I hadn't spoken to the fire inspector, but I have no idea why anonymous calls would prompt a fire inspection if he's already done it.
Yeah, we would need a staff report on it.
Yeah,
We do have anonymous complaints that come in and we have to follow up on them.
But if he's already been there and already done the upgrades,
I think you would want a staff report on it.
yeah, I most certainly want a staff report on it because I don't understand why.
Yeah.
And Adela may know better, but
Well, I just know that John's complied.
Well, it sounds like he has.
In every way since Brandon's been here, and he wants to work with us, and work as a municipality. That's the last thing we want to do is close a business.
No,
We just that's the last thing that's on our mind.
It's really not my intent.
No,
And
absolutely.
And I could have been a stickler and say, well, the report I got was incorrect. For it reported right at the start, a fire inspection took place at 6628 Highway 3, Western Shore. I'm at 6480. 6628 is actually the Western Shore Cemetery. But I didn't want to be on the negative side. I want to be on the positive side. I want to provide service to the community. I enjoy this community. I'm from Halifax. I retired back in 2016. I'm just looking to do something in my retirement years. And I really have, I didn't think I'd enjoy Western Shore. It's a very slow pace for me compared to Halifax, but I do enjoy the people and the community.
Yeah.
And John's has been a great asset to our community.
Oh, yeah.
And my biggest fear is that we're gonna lose our post office.
Yeah. Oh, no, that's an important part.
And absolutely.
I have no intent to, but if there's a
Hey, you can only put up
feeling
so
of
much.
pressure,
Well, that's right.
I need to make sure that what I'm feeling is hard sometimes to define what racism is, and I don't like using that card. I could have used that card many years as I've worked for National Defense and for Bell Line in the tail end of my services. But I've never ever used that to promote myself or to get up the corporate ladder. I just enjoy working and dealing with people, and I hope to continue another 5-10 years down the road. I've retired many years back, and I don't mind sitting back and I guess going to Chester Playhouse. It sounds like a wonderful place. I've never been there. I work 7 days a week, and I don't pay myself anything. It's just something I enjoy doing in my retirement years.
Yeah. Andre?
Just so it's clear, because it wasn't in your report, what's triggered this is you've had another recent inspection. That's what's bringing you here today.
That would be correct. Yes. It seems like an excess. I just had it compliance just last year by Mr. Brandon Mosher. And I've complied to every item. And as I've said, if there is a takeaway that is justifiable, is my inventory. I need to control that so that it doesn't clutter. But if everybody, it's a public place. Everybody's welcome to come anytime and take a look for themselves.
Yeah.
I'm not stopping anybody from it. Just formal versus informal, what are called drop-ins.
Well, I know that we have trouble getting all the inspections done, and it looks like you're getting a lot of them.
Yeah, exactly.
I have had, and it's actually, because when I took over the place, there was not even a single fire extinguisher.
Oh, I don't imagine.
Nothing. So it does make me wonder if ever an inspection, I don't want to dwell on the past, I just want to
move forward.
Do what I've done to bring it up to par and just move forward and just let me work and serve the community. I enjoy the community very much, and
if I could say, just on John's behalf, I've known John since he's come to the community, and he's worked he's not a guy that we get people that say no, you can't. I don't want to do this. You can't make me do it. He's completely the opposite.
No, he appears to have done everything that
he does. He's very much in compliance, or he'll do whatever on that fact. I know that for a fact. So. Yeah, I think we need a report.
Yeah, we definitely. Derek.
Yeah, I'm looking for the staff report as well. I'm curious to know, though, what the deficiencies were that they were dealing with.
Certainly. The one was certainly the inventory. I had too much. It was of concern.
Second was people to get around.
That's right. So second is that what do they call the access to egress to be able to. When I Googled the definition of egress, is a clear exit out of the premises. And I believe I've got over 3 or 3.5 feet separation as you are able to come into the mill and get out without any obstacles in this way.
So we need a staff report before we can do too much else.
Yeah, just.
But my biggest concern are the phone calls of people complaining. Like I don't hear of that taking place in hardly any results.
No. I've got the actual report, if you'd like, of the fire inspection that was
Yeah, Andre?
I just want to say one thing, like, we always have to be careful on council that we don't become too operational, because, if it looks like political interference in a staff's job, and so we, I'm really glad that you came and you highlighted this issue, and, for me, this is all news to me. I had no idea that this kind of thing was happening or could be happening or whatever, so it's important. I'm glad you came.
Thank you.
But I think you've sent that message, and I'm 100% confident that you've attracted the attention of, our only employee, the CAO, and she'll dig into it and make sure, and I'm sure she'll be in touch with you also to resolve this matter so that you can get on with your business, and, that's what we want to.
Thank you. I just want to serve the community.
Yeah.
Looks like you're doing a good job.
Yeah.
We aren't here to stop you.
No, absolutely.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you very much.
Thanks, Sean.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to leave?
You are.
Yeah, you got a post office.
You can go home if you want. Okay, Elizabeth Finney,
Hi,
how are you?
I'm well. Oh, good, you got it. I brought it back up USB just in case. So thank you for allowing me to come back. I was just here a few weeks ago.
Wasn't long ago, no?
I'm here on behalf of Bonnie Lee Farm, and I know that I've presented to you in the past on major capital grant, and I'm back again before submitting another application. We were here 2 years ago to request support for our home to stay project, and I'm here today on something different.
Oh.
So I know you are all familiar with Bonnie Lee Farm, so I won't spend a lot of time on the mission and vision. But we support people with intellectual disabilities, and this is a big time for people with disabilities. We've celebrated our 50th anniversary, and also last year the province has begun to take steps to rectify human rights issues for people with disabilities. So as you know, we're home and work for people with disabilities. So here's Sonia in the kitchen. She likes working in the kitchen, making coffee, and she also does a lot of art. Then we have Angela. She is one of the newer participants to Bonnie Lee Farm. Yesterday she celebrated her second anniversary of living at Hamilton House here in the village. And she works at Sensi Spa and down at the shop on Central. And then we have Joanne, who has lived and worked at Bonnie Lee Farm for many, many years, and Joanne is a wheelchair user. So I shared these three particular participants for reasons. So Sonia lives and works at Bonnie Lee Farm, and she is pretty able-bodied and can get around. Angela lives and works in our community. She lives at Hamilton House just down the hill, and she works at the shop on Central. And Hamilton House, if any of you are familiar, is an older home. Like I would say it's over 100 years old. And Joanne has been at Bonnie Lee Farm a long time, lives and works out at Bonnie Lee Farm, and is a wheelchair user. So you can go on to the next one. We acknowledge, as I say, the support we've received from the municipality in recent years, the major capital grant 2 years ago, a district grant, and an operating grant this past year. One supporting our creation of our legacy book, and one supporting the Picnic in the Park 50th anniversary celebration. So living and working at Bonnie Lee Farm, there's 50 participants, 37 live and work there full-time, and then another 10 plus come and work for the day throughout the week. And there are 70 employees, give or take, full, part-time, casual employees, and over $4 million spent in the local economy. I'm just reviewing the numbers. You've all heard them before. So why am I here?
One of your employees live on site?
No, they don't currently. They used to many years ago.
That's all, just.
Yeah, they don't currently.
Don't you have people who look after some of the residences who, they don't live there, but they...
We have staff on site.
Yes.
24 hours a day.
Yeah, that's right.
But they don't actually live on site. So between our residential staff and our day program staff, there's always staff on site. That's how you get to that number of 70. So the major capital grant application that we're going to be submitting to you is with respect to our aging infrastructure, having been in operation for 50 years. And a few of our buildings exceed 100 years old. 2 of our residences are over 100 years old, the Hamilton House and the Church House. Currently still in use at Bonnie Lee Farm, as well as some of the buildings. Our maintenance operations take place out of some very aged buildings. Something funny's happened with my formatting, but whatever. So we operate 9 homes. We have 5 vocational administrative buildings. And so that includes our day program building, as well as our maintenance buildings and our residence administration building. And so that equals 20 workplace and residential ramps and fire escapes that are in desperate need of accessibility and fire safety infrastructure renewal. And our estimate for that work is currently about 150. I think it might be a bit more than that. So I'm just including here, and you don't need to spend a lot of time on each of these pictures, but I've just included photos of our various ramps and stairs that are all needing replacement. And some of them are close to the ground, as you're seeing here. This is the Church House. Church House alone has 4 entrances and exits. 3 of them have to be wheelchair accessible for the residents who live there. At day program, we have several fire emergency exits that are in desperate state. What you're not seeing here is the attachment underneath the deck, and the set of stairs is very rusted out. You'll see that in another image. And we've been replacing boards. This one, you can see the yellow caution tape on the fire escape saying, don't use this unless absolutely necessary. And this one has quite a high support underneath because the ground falls away behind the building, which you'll see in the next 2 photos. So here you'll see rusted out supports underneath the decking going onto the ramp, and then the next one down shows you the distance where that ramp is coming out, but it's over a lower fire escape door. So it's at quite a height. And then we have our kitchen, ramp, and fire escape area. And then we have an office that you can see the door currently is going out onto nothing because that doorstep was really unsafe. And so we just had to remove it and lock that door until such time as it's replaced. And this is coming off of our main entrance hall, the kitchen hall, and off of an office. Our day program, another one of our fire escapes and exits. So you're getting the picture. We have a lot of doors, a lot of accessible requirements for our exits. And this is down here at Hamilton House. The front entry is in desperate need. And there's the rear fire exit at Hamilton House. And as well, our residential office building has a fire escape, which is currently not usable, it's usable in case of an absolute emergency. They would get down it, but it is not optimal. And so we humbly are presenting ourselves to council under the major capital grant project with the hopes that we can seek your support towards upgrading some of this aging infrastructure and getting things in much better shape for the staff and participants who live and work there. And we're in the process of seeking support also from the province and the feds and our fundraising revenues as well, but it is outside of our budget, our operating budget.
What do you expect total cost to be?
Upwards of, I said 150, it's more than that. That's based solely really on the materials and minimal labor if our people are able to perform most of the work. If we have to hire outside contractors, then the prices are going to go up from there. So that's the lower end of the estimate. So that is my very rapid presentation to you, and I would happily answer any questions that you might have.
Well, I mean, I don't have any questions. I mean, I know the facility. I know that you need to fix that kind of stuff. It's just a question of where the money all comes from.
Yeah.
So can you, sorry, Andre, go ahead.
We'll have a discussion. Thank you. We always like to hear from one of them. It's important. The only concern I have is that the grant that you're referring to that's specifically designed to, is not designed to deal with maintenance items. It's specifically designed for enhancement of programs. So basically, when you're adding capacity to a facility, rather than dealing, we actually rejected community center recently because they wanted to undertake a massive roof infrastructure project. It was just replacing what was there. So I'm concerned that it doesn't fit very well within our grant criteria. There are others, but they don't have as high a threshold as this. But Chad can fill you in on the details on that. But it's something you should be aware of.
Yeah, well, I know that I did look and I thought that it covered renovations and replacement. No? Okay. I thought that it.
And it doesn't in any way, it doesn't mean that we don't care about, the facility or it's not important. It just, to create a even surface for all groups, we had to set rigid boundaries on where we would apply these large grants. So we've been
Measure where we get a lot of requests.
No, I know you do, and I was going to come back on the home because we're still we're getting close on the home, but we need to pivot. But then we were discussing that, well, perhaps we would try to meet some of the other needs. So.
But you should have a discussion with Chad on what would work best.
So your cost is going to be 100, you have your hand up.
That's okay.
A minimum of 150, Derek.
What would your ask going to be to the municipality?
I would ask you for as much as possible, honestly.
You're not asking for the full 150?
Well, we tried for 150 last time and we got 100, so. Yeah.
But you also showed other funding partners, your province and federal.
Yeah, that we haven't secured anything from yet, but we're trying.
That was actually that was my question. Because you might look at, they have a lot of funding, especially where you're talking accessibility and there should be a ton of provincial money there for that, I think.
There is and there isn't. And with some of the federal funding, their thresholds are very different. Like, so if you're familiar with the EAF, the Enhancing Accessibility Fund, they recently closed their large project, but it's a $250,000 budget line, and so that we're not there with this project. So we didn't even qualify because that was the lower end of the project. So we're more than a lot of the small projects and less than some of the really big ones. So that's why this has been a challenge for us. It falls outside of some of the requirements that other programs have. So.
Couldn't you make it up to 250 probably? You probably could. I mean, if you're estimating 150, the way everything is today, I mean.
Yeah, but they do want you to work with an actual budget, so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can't, and we can't, I'm sure we could come up with many things, but they wouldn't fit within the program, yeah.
I have no doubt we haven't heard the end of this. Just, I guess our only recommendation is to have a chat with Chad and just see what we can do.
What the best.
As soon as the application comes in, I have no doubt that we'll look at it with keen interest.
Yes. Yeah.
Sounds good.
But it has to fit the criteria.
Yeah,
Thank you. So I could just wait for further information as part of your application to us, but in terms of your discussions with the province, I'm not as familiar with in terms of the accessibility and emergency exits and doorstep replacements and all that, but with Anna Hanstra, with the province and the Communities, Culture and Heritage Community Infrastructure monies, and I'm looking back at Chad too, like I know that they've got the recreation facility something program, and that's pretty hardy. It's it's every 4 years still, I think, or every couple of years, and it's up to a third, but it's a pretty hardy maximum that you can max out at. And so I don't know if you've had discussions with them as well.
That's part of
Probably
that's part of the province question mark.
Okay.
Yeah. Department of Community Services doesn't have anything to support this. So the community's culture is another on.
Because I would hope that they would, envelope, I would hope so. Thanks.
Yeah, I think it's just sit down with Chad and see where you fit within the variety of programs we have.
Thank you very much.
We're gonna take a 10-minute break.
Perfect.